with Avengers Endgame approaching us, I'm continuing my little mini-series of Marvel reviews with Avengers Age of Ultron, which most people would consider the least of the Avengers films. Yeah, I guess the tables have kind of turned on Avengers Age of Ultron in recent years, haven't they? A lot of people don't really think this is as good as some of the other higher tier Marvel films. Hell, there are lots of people out there who don't even think Avengers Age of Ultron is even that good. But why? In my opinion, Avengers Age of Ultron might actually be even better than the first Avengers. Hell, I think it might even be one of the best Marvel movies to date. Before I go on, don't forget to smash that like button, smash that share button, and if you're new here, smash that subscribe button so you can watch more reviews like this one, and give a little tap to the gray bell icon for notifications on my latest uploads. Back to the review. Avengers Age of Ultron is directed by Joss Whedon and written by Joss Whedon, and this once again follows the Avengers in their quest to stop this evil robot guy named Ultron, which Tony Stark and Bruce Banner created to sort of protect the Earth and basically be in a suit of armor around the world. But that doesn't go quite as planned, as Ultron feels like the only way to save the world is to eradicate all of humanity. Yeah, the usual stuff. Now, why do I feel like Avengers Age of Ultron is even better than the first Avengers? Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. For one, and I'm just gonna let this out there, the action and effects are even better than the first Avengers. I mean, the Avengers had some really cool effects, but even then there were some green screen moments that were a little bit iffy. Avengers Age of Ultron doesn't really have that in my opinion. The effects have been stepped up a lot. And if I'm gonna be honest, comparing Loki in the Avengers with Ultron in this film, I actually think Ultron's a stronger villain. He has a lot of the things that are basically the same about Loki. Like, he is pretty snarky and sarcastic. They both sort of want to rule the world, although with Loki he wants to enslave mankind, Ultron wants to eradicate mankind. Although there are a couple of things about Ultron that I feel like make him a little bit more interesting than Loki in the Avengers. Like, for one, the motive. Loki wanted to rule the world because he wanted attention. Which is really, I mean, that is really cool, but really, it kind of has to go off of Thor in order for you to get that. Ultron's motive in this film is made pretty clear. He sees what humanity has done over the decades, no, not decades, centuries that they've been around, with all these wars and stuff, and what the destruction that the Avengers have caused. It's kind of like, no, I really don't trust the human race to look after themselves. The human race is the worst thing that could happen to the Earth, so I'm just going to eradicate them. And lastly, I feel like this is, pretty important, I think Ultron's a little bit more menacing than Loki. But the main reason why I feel like Avengers Age of Ultron is even better than the first Avengers is there's more character development. In the first Avengers film, we don't really have that much character development. Like I said in my review of the first Avengers film, it's really just one-liners and action, which worked, but it doesn't really have that kind of lasting effect for me. Whereas with Avengers Age of Ultron, there are one-liners, there is action, but you do get a lot of character development in there. You start to see how Tony Stark changes as a person and what will lead him down the road later on in the MCU. Black Widow, she is probably the best in this film that she's ever been. Hopefully until the Black Widow movie comes along, which I'm really excited about. But I feel like Black Widow in this film is the most interesting she's ever been, mainly because we see a lot of her backstory. And I mean, a lot of her backstory, and it's heartbreaking at times. There's even a scene that happens in this film that I'm not gonna really say what it is, but all I will say is that it takes place after a shower, where Natasha and Bruce Banner are talking to each other, and what Black Widow reveals is so heartbreaking, and Mark Ruffalo delivers his facial expressions perfectly. Like, you see the heartbreak, you see the horrified look on his face. It's just done so well, and I love that. It really does add a lot of character to Black Widow. Hell, we even learn a lot about Hawkeye in this movie, which I feel like is massively overlooked, because no one really cared about Hawkeye in the first Avengers film. even those who really liked the first Avengers never really gave that much of a shit about Hawkeye. But in Avengers Age of Ultron, we see that he has a family. And not only a family, but apparently their family is very close with Natasha. So close that even, Hawkeye's kids refer to Natasha as Auntie Nat. Oh, that is so heartwarming. That's so sweet. And not only that, but Hawkeye's wife is pregnant with another child, and they plan on calling him Nathaniel, naming him after Natasha. Again, it's that kind of character building that I really like in Avengers Age of Ultron, and I feel like really gets massively overlooked. The climax of this film is not only very exciting, but in all honesty, I kind of feel that the stakes are even higher in this than the first Avengers film. You really do feel the danger, and the importance of this situation really feels prevalent during this scene. So yeah, I never really got the hate that, Avengers Age of Ultron got. I really loved Avengers Age of Ultron, and again, I feel like it's one of the best Marvel movies to date. Granted, there are still many more to come, and there's still Endgame coming up, but yeah, I definitely recommend seeing Avengers Age of Ultron if you haven't already. I really do think it's probably one of the more underrated comic book movies. What do you think of Avengers Age of Ultron? Let me know down in the comments below what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a like, share the video so we can get the channel circulated. Don't forget to support my Patreon on my Patreon page, or if you can't do that, then consider supporting me through my PayPal donation button in the description below. And if you want to see more, click this.